Hey, what is up guys? It's Brendan here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use QuickBooks Online for beginners. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you step-by-step how you can quickly and easily utilize Intuit QuickBooks Online for beginners. Again, now I am not personally a CPA, I am just a small business owner, maybe just like those of you guys watching this video who are just getting started with QuickBooks, or maybe you're looking and trying to decide whether or not you want to use QuickBooks. If you do end up deciding to go with them, of course, you can go ahead and check out that first link down below in the description. That's brendanvleski.com/QuickBooks. We'll take you right over to QuickBooks where you can get started with QuickBooks. Again, that is an affiliate link, which is a great way to help out and support the channel. Now, within the tutorial, of course, figuring out how to use it. In this tutorial, you're going to learn exactly how to use it in a very beginner-friendly business owner way, okay? This is single entry-based accounting that we're going to be using in this tutorial, and just the quick and dirty, easy way to use QuickBooks and how I personally like to organize it for my own accounting methods within my small business. Again, this is very easy to understand, and it is really the simplest way to use QuickBooks. You're not necessarily going to be using every single feature that QuickBooks has to offer. Again, it does depend on your business as to what you might want to use within QuickBooks or not use. But again, this is a very simple way to use QuickBooks and how I personally do it. So I'm going to be showing you step by step. Now we're about to get into things. So of course, this is currently on the Intuit QuickBooks demo, just to show you a demo of how to use the software with this simple accounting method. So the first thing you're going to want to do in utilizing this different accounting method structure, and I'm going to be explaining it as we go as well, as far as how this works when it comes to, doing your taxes, or making sure your income and expenses are properly logged and accounted for when you're doing your accounting, because ultimately accounting is somewhat customizable to your business, of course. But within that, so step by step how to do it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come over here to the right hand corner, and depending on if you're on the computer, I would highly recommend doing this on the computer version of QuickBooks. The app is not as fully functional, but so come over here to the settings bar. You're going to want to switch this from accountant view to business view. This is personally what I like to do in QuickBooks. Again, it's just a lot easier to manage your transactions. So you're going to switch things to business view. It should take a second here to load, and then you'll be set in business view. You'll see in a moment how that changes in terms of your overall view within QuickBooks. So you've done that here. Now, by default, your QuickBooks account will just have your dashboard here, and it'll bring you here to your business's dashboard. Now, obviously the first step, you go ahead and switch that to business view. The next step you're going to want to make sure that you do in this process is connecting your bank accounts. Now, QuickBooks should show you, hey, connect your bank accounts. It's pretty easy to do. You go in, connect accounts. Now, here we have a few different sample accounts, such as a business checking, a savings, a MasterCard. Now, in this version of accounting, doing single entry, it's just going to be tracking the single entry of the income and expenses and creating a profit and loss report. That's what we're going to be doing, okay? So this is not a full suite double entry accounting setup by utilizing this method and tutorial, but again, this is just a simple way to do it, and it's quick and dirty, easy way to get it done. So you're going to want to make sure that your bank accounts are connected, all of your different business bank accounts, whether it be a whatever checking account that you're using for your business, whether you're a sole proprietor, whether you have an LLC, whatever your business structure looks like from a business structure perspective. Make sure that those accounts are connected. Whatever credit cards that you're using and putting business expenses on, make sure those are in here as well, so that everything is automatically synced and accounted for when QuickBooks is automatically logging those transactions, which we're now going to get to. So just make sure your accounts are all connected here. All you have to do is click the Connect Accounts section. Go ahead and link your accounts. Again, all your credit cards, bank accounts, anything that has any sort of income or expenses for your business, okay? For the business that you are keeping track of here within QuickBooks. Next, okay, now moving into the bank transactions, and we'll be moving into the report section later as far as how everything comes together. So within your bank transactions, you're going to be having your expenses and everything logged in here. We're going to review the categories. Now, as you can see, you can set things up as certain expenses if they're categorized or uncategorized. We're going to go ahead and skip that here for now. Going to close out of that, skip for now, review the categories. That's if you want to set up certain custom categories. But essentially, this is what it will look like when you actually have a transaction come into your QuickBooks account. So as you can see here, this is on the checking account. This is a bank transaction that came in. Now, as far as categorizing your transactions, again, as you saw, you can add sort of custom rules and categorizations. If you want to get into that, you can. Honestly, you don't even need to necessarily. That can help maybe save some time with a little bit of automation, but you don't even have to do that. All you need to do is come in here. It will automatically pull this from your, whether it be your bank statement, your bank, your checking account, your, savings account. We'll go into the different accounts so you can get an idea of maybe some different transactions. But just for this example one here, we have Books by Bessie. So as you can see here, that's the vendor customers in here, and we are currently categorizing things. So we're going to categorize this. You can have it as uncategorized income. This is essentially the area where you're actually going to be categorizing. So you need to categorize this, whether it be as income or expenses. Those are pretty much the main two categories. Now, within the income category within accounting, realistically, it depends on how granular you want to get for your income. You can log things as more specific subcategories within your income if you want it to, whether it's labeled as services income or uncategorized income, or other income. Realistically, all that you even need to do is just log things in here as sales income, sales of product or whatever category it is. Again, you can add additional categories and get more, complex with it if you want to, or you can even just label things as other income. But basically, the categories that you select will then carry over on your report section, which we'll get into in a moment once we've categorized a few things here. That's what will then carry over to your report section once they are all categorized and confirmed within your bank transactions. So again, income, expenses. It becomes a little bit more important on the expense side, making sure that your expenses are properly labeled by subcategory, again, because these are what the IRS uses to create your tax deductions based on your business expenses. There are certain categories, of course, like meals and entertainment. Entertainment's sort of separate now with the IRS, but at least meals are up to 50% deduction currently. Of course, this may change. Other things are 100%. Like if it's a cost of labor, a job-based expense, that's 100% an expense against your income. The reason with meals is because everybody needs to eat anyway, so they sort of count that as like half personal. That's just how the IRS wants to treat it. Other things like utility bills, that's 100% against your income. So just keeping that in mind is making sure that you are properly logging all of your expenses in here. When you are logging and categorizing your different expenses, is making sure that the expenses are properly identified. Again, income isn't as crucial to identify. That's more so on your own personal reporting basis on how you want your reporting to look like when you're trying to decide, hey, where did all the income come in this month from the business? QuickBooks will help you see that as to, what category the income came in through and what that actually looks like in your business. So you can see, hey, all of our income came in from services, or all of our income came in through, other sources of income. So for this one, we're just going to label that as other income, since this is a positive transaction. So this is this came into the checking account. So we're going to count that then as income there. We're going to confirm that as other income. Now you could label that as sales as well. We're going to go ahead and click continue. And as you can see, that is then categorized in here as deposit, other income. And we have others for review. So as you can see here, you can go through, and now some of these will automatically pop up as, hey, it's automatic. But if you want to keep it just as very simple, single entry, all you have to do is you can honestly, anything that's sort of like a match transaction, if you don't want to use double entry, all you have to do on those match transactions in here is come up here, and you can just exclude them from your list of transactions if you don't care to keep them in there. And you can feel free to continue to exclude other match transactions if you don't care about doing double entry, you don't necessarily care about representing all of your chart of accounts and things like that, or reconciling the separate chart of accounts. Again, that's more double entry. Again, this video focuses purely on single entry. So you can go through here and, all of those additional bank transactions that you might be seeing, all you have to do is go in and exclude them, and you don't necessarily need to include both in your overall transaction statement. Now, to keep things simple, again, if you have a credit card, again, those transactions will then, be a negative, or they'll show up here as a positive, but technically it's a negative because it's a credit card. So that's actually an expense. So all you have to do is then come in here, label it as an expense. So let's say Amazon, for example, that will be let's just say some sort of office expense. We'll count that there as office expense in here under Amazon. So that's on the credit card. And we will categorize that here as, again, it says Amazon software. And we're going to go ahead and confirm that there as an office expense. We're going to go back to the checking account. We're going to maybe get a little bit more income. So let's go ahead and also add this income here as uncategorized income. Cool, that's fine. So yeah, all you have to do is then keep going through all your transactions and make sure that these little boxes here are all, taken care of, whether it be categorized within the subcategories that I had mentioned, whether it be, again, income and expenses, or you can just choose to exclude additional things that are not necessarily pertinent to your method of accounting. Again, this is single entry accounting. You don't need to record the matches within that method of accounting. You also have, again, savings account is just a deposit here. Again, that's technically already been accounted for. If you're just transferring money from like a checking to a savings, you don't even necessarily need to count that on the income and expenses. Again, this method does not include a balance sheet, which would, essentially in a more formal traditional accounting setting would give you all of the account balance data. But realistically nowadays, you pretty much have a balance sheet just looking at your total account balance on your bank statements anyway. So then you come in here, you go in your credit card statement, you make sure you log the credit card expenses again. Next, what you're going to come down to next is then go to reports. So this is going to give you your actual profit and loss statement. Now, the ones that I personally do like to see here, again, if you are maybe utilizing the invoices section within QuickBooks, if you are using invoices, accounts receivable aging can be nice just to see, hey, who hasn't paid you yet? But as far as doing things within this method of accounting and keeping track of your overall income and expenses within QuickBooks, what I like to use is the profit and loss statement, as well as profit and loss by month. So personally, I also really like profit and loss by month. You can also track things, quarterly or yearly as well. If you dig into other profit and loss statements, you can set things up by tag groups as well. We're not going to be getting that into tag groups in this video, but that's another more granular way that you can dig into your overall expenses. But again, profit and loss year-to-date comparison, maybe this year versus last year, just to give you overall business overview. Okay, there we are, quarterly profit and loss summary. So we're going to go ahead and just look at the total profit and loss statement. This will have your income and expenses. Now, as you can see here, there's a lot of transactions that have already been categorized in here within QuickBooks. But again, you're labeling in your income and your total expenses. Now, depending on how you break things down, there will be more granular data in here, depending on how you actually go in and break down your income and your expenses within your account. So as you can see here, you have your design income, you have maybe discounts that were given against that. Again, you have landscaping services. So depending on how you actually go in and categorize your income on the bank transactions like I showed you, that's how it will then appear here within your reports. Now, you can also, lower those to make things a little bit simpler if you don't need to look at all the granular different levels of income, whether it be uncategorized income, service income, sales of product income. Again, that's more just on the granular level. That's your total income. There is that total number there, the 8,000. And then what you can do is then look at your expenses. Now, this is what the especially important for tax time is when you're actually logging your expenses when you go to file your taxes. So you have your advertising expenses, you have your automobile expenses, you have, insurance, different things. Now, when you're actually going and filing your taxes, some of these categories might just sort of come together. Like, as you can see, legal and professional fees, that kind of falls the same here with accounting or lawyer fees. The total legal and professional fees would be the expense that you actually log. When you're going into your tax software or filing with tax preparer, this is what you would give them. Again, your total annual income and expenses statement to give the actual total numbers. Again, within QuickBooks, this is an easy way. As you saw, you're just going in, you're doing your transactions, and it will automatically populate here within the report. For me personally, that is the best selling point within QuickBooks is this report here. Personally, what I like the most about it. So as you can see here, you have like gas and telephone, or gas and electric, telephone, different utilities expenses. Those will all be then categorized under different subcategories. Again, that's what the IRS recognizes as the different categories. Then you have your total expenses and your total net income after expenses. But realistically, you have your total income, your gross, total income, actual gross profit after you deduct like cost of goods sold if you're maybe in e-commerce or something like that where you actually have like sales or cost of goods sold. You have your total income, you have your expenses, and then you get your net income. Now, other ways to represent this within QuickBooks, another thing as well that I personally like to do myself within accounting is I do like to use the cash basis accounting. So all you have to do is then click cash and run the report. Within your accounting method. Again, this is just to recognize that income as it comes in, not based on when you expect it to come. I like this because it's a lot more representative of when the money is actually available in your bank account. Accrual is where it's based on money that is expected to come in and has not come in yet. So I personally really like to have the cash basis accounting because it's a lot easier. Again, you should only be paying, especially when it comes to taxes as well, on money that you've actually already received and that you can account for within your business. Accrual is fine maybe for predicting future cash flows. Again, depending on the nature of your industry or your business, I personally also like to switch it to the cash-based accounting method. For me personally, again, you could use accrual as well. It just depends on what you like in your business. I think most business owners probably prefer the cash basis because you can see, hey, I actually have this money now. I'm not just waiting on it from some customer that might pay me or hope that they pay me. So that's what you can do there as well to make sure that everything is up to date currently. Now, another way, as you can see, this year to date, you can also separate it out by the month. So you come back to reports, you can also split things out by month. So this is another simple, easy way to do things. As you can see right now, we're just in the month of February, so there's not a whole lot of data there. As far as January or February, but this can be another great way to also plot the points as far as seeing like, hey, maybe you had a good month last month, you had a better month this month, or a worse month. You can sort of chart things out as well and see how your overall business is doing on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis or on a yearly basis as well. And you can get a really granular as far as where the money's coming from and where your expenses are coming from as well is also another important thing. So again, this is just a very quick and dirty, easy way to do your accounting within QuickBooks. Again, I like the cash basis accounting. I like the business view. It's just a lot simpler. Again, this is for people who aren't maybe traditionally accountants. If you're okay with doing single entry accounting, just purely logging income, expenses, you're not worrying about the balance sheet in this sort of method. It makes it a lot easy, or it does make it very easy to get your profit and loss statements so that when it comes tax time, you can log your income and you can log all of your granular expenses within your business, and just not even outside of tax time, just throughout the year, you can keep better view of your overall financial statements and your financial health within your business. That's how I like to use QuickBooks personally. And so I figured I would make this tutorial. Again, if you guys found this video helpful, if you're trying to decide whether or not you do want to go with QuickBooks, again, there are a lot of other features that I have not touched on in this video, again, because this is just purely a beginner's basic video for getting started with QuickBooks. Again, hopefully this video helped you in sort of covering the most important pieces to actually utilizing QuickBooks and getting your bank transactions in there, logging those transactions and your expenses, your income and expenses, seeing those cash flow, profit and loss reports Hopefully you found this video helpful. Again, if you do want to check out QuickBooks, you can go check out the first link down below in the description. That's brendanvleski.com/QuickBooks. Take you right over to QuickBooks where you can get started with QuickBooks again. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, guys, that was all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.